Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be pruning my hydrangeas for the season of 2025 and I'd like to share that process with you. This is the second week of February and although I could wait a bit longer to prune the hydrangeas, I'm choosing to do that now to avoid having more work during the springtime. So this is my Incrediball hydrangea arborescens hedge. I planted these in the early summer of 2023 when we moved in. I also have a few Limelight hydrangea paniculata as well as the macrophylla, as well as a few bushes of macrophylla hydrangeas. This is the Pinky Winky hedge that I just newly planted in fall. I have a few hydrangea standard trees in containers that I'm going to be pruning as well. I'm going to be starting with Incrediball hydrangea hedge, which performed very well for me last season. And I'm sure this coming season they'll perform even better now that they have somewhat established themselves in this garden bed. And I cannot wait to see those beautiful large blooms fresh again. So the first thing I'm going to do is to cut off all the bloom heads to get a better overview of the center of the plants. And then after that, I'll go in meticulously and address each and every plant individually, trying to remove all the dead stems, all the broken stems, and just providing air to the center, a better air circulation to the center of the plant. So now that I've done the initial cut, just to clear the bushes and have a better view of the crowns, I'm going to be going in and I'll be taking out any of the very, very weak stems right down to the bottom, and all the stems that may be bent or broken or twisted, all of that. So we're losing light, but a good example here on how I do that would be to take this one for instance. It has a few stems that are bent. It has a few stems that are very, very small, that will not have the strength to actually carry any future blooms. They may produce blooms, but compared to this stem, for instance, this is a very strong and sturdy stem. This one, however, is quite tiny, and I just need to clean it up and cut it right from the base, from the bottom there. Just remove that completely. Anything that is like broken or bent is good to go. I'm going to be cutting. This is also, yeah, good to go. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that, cleaning out all the stems that are very weak, dry, any dead stems, remove them completely. Any twisted stems also can be removed. So given that we're losing light, I'm just going to show you how I ended up trimming this. This could still be brought down a few inches on some stems, and because we are very early in the season, this is the second week of February, and I could still come back later in spring and reduce them even more. So this is good enough for now. It got a bit late yesterday and I had to stop this project. I'm back this afternoon, the next day, to continue it, and what I'm going to do now is to remove all the weeds that are growing in the garden bed, in the hydrangea bed, and then fertilize, put some chicken manure and some slow release fertilizer, and then mulch it. So now I'm pretty happy to have removed all the weeds. I could trim this little hedge of boxwood a little bit. I'm probably going to give some of those tiny plants a haircut, but that is really not priority now. They're still small, so I can trim them anytime. So I'm going to go ahead now and put in the chicken manure and slow release fertilizer. I'm just going to use the rose fertilizer, the fertilizer that I use for roses, because I don't have any other fertilizer right now. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of that, and I'm basically doing this, putting it just around the crowns, sprinkling it right there. And with the watering and the rain that will be falling, it's going to work its way down to the roots. And I'm going to be doing the same for the chicken manure. And this is the compost that I'm using. Nothing special, just a garden compost. Actually, this is not, it's compost, but it's not quite ripe yet. It's more like a mulch. So I think that pretty much wraps up this area. As I said, I can always come back and reduce the length of some of the branches, but for now this is good to go for the season. Yeah, we're now going to do the macrophylla hydrangeas in containers, and after that I'm going to show you guys how I prune my Limelight and other paniculata hydrangeas. On second thought, we'll do this Limelight real quick, because light, it's about to disappear from this side of the garden, and it's warmer to work out here when there's sun shining. So we're doing an example with this small one here because it's easier, just like for the Annabelle or smooth leaf hydrangeas. The first thing is to first prune, or to cut to the size that you want your stems to grow next season. So I'm going to do that real quick, just randomly cut enough. So now once you bring the shrub down to the size that you'd like to have it at, you need to evaluate the condition of all of each stem basically, and you need to get rid of any dead stems, any really weak stems that you feel like they will not have the strength to carry the bloom heads. And then think about where the next stems that will carry the blooms are going to be growing. They always grow where you see a knot. So here we have like 1, 2, 3 stems I'm going to be cutting here, and that means I'll have 2 new stems on this side, and I'll do the same here. I'm going to prune this down a bit. Here I might decide to go there just like that. I'll do the same all around. There we go. And here yeah, removing this. There we go. So that is the size to which I have decided to bring it now. Let me work on this and show you. So also on that big one, you see that I've cleaned it up, brought it down to a good size, completely eliminating any dry stems, any weak stems. Something like this, we can cut it down a bit more. And this as well, I mean, this we could still reduce it. And as I said, this one right here, I'm going to be making attempting to make a hydrangea tree, and that is something that I think I'm going to cut it off up here, and then I'll try to get it to root on the stalk itself. I'll put like some soil here, and yeah. So for this one right here, I'm going to doing exactly the same. You can see here at the bottom, I need to get rid of a lot of dead stems. Something like this has to go. This should go. Clean it up quite a lot and make sure that it's set for the new season, really. So now we're here doing the macrophylla hydrangeas. This is the soft pink salsa variety. Here you have to prune quite lightly, very top, removing the blooms of the past season, but not going in too aggressively, because some of the buds have already built up for this season. However, this one actually blooms on new wood, so if I was to trim all of this out, you'll still grow enough to produce new blooms. Let's see. So now that I've cleaned this one up, remove all the dead blooms and the dead leaves and everything, you can see the center of the plant better. And just by doing this, you can feel like there are many that are just breaking off, which are dead stems, and we need to get rid of all of those, because if something is dry and dead, look at this one, this is completely dry, it's not going to be producing anything. So I'm going to try and cut that off completely right there, removing that. And this one as well, this is completely dead, so I'm removing that. Look, it's dry, dead. So I'm going to be removing all of those and making way for new stems to grow from the crown. You can see some buds down there, they're going to be growing into long stems that will be carrying the new blooms. And this is the result after removing and cleaning all the dead stems in the center, in the middle of the crown. So this is what I got right now. You can still remove a few. And I might actually divide this one, like cutting it right here in the middle using a saw and just dividing it, we'll see. But I'm going to have to transplant this if I'm to keep it to this size. I might move it to the bigger version of that same pot, because these are the smaller ones, because it does get quite big when it's in full bloom. So we'll see. I'm going to be leaving all these stems because they have buds, and new stems will be coming up from all these little leaves that you see right here. So after cleaning up the second one and mulching it, this is what it looks like. As you can see, providing air at the base of the plant is quite important. For the fertilizer, also important at the beginning of the season to put in a good quality slow release fertilizer. I have some chicken manure as well, and then as always mulch the plants depending on the level of the soil. Add some compost and some mulch to maintain the humidity, and then water, and that's it.